Alright, so just going off the ducking video from the last time I did this, let's go into this. So right now the ducking is just going instantly down, but we're not interpolating into the ducking motion. And we have two raycasts that go in both the opposite way the player is moving and the forward way the player is moving. So as you can see, if one of them is colliding, we can't stand up. So like if one of them goes red, we can't stand up. But if both of them are not colliding, we're good. And yeah, so right here we can't stand up even though like there's two of them. So it goes like this is just making sure that like when we're moving, if we go past it, then we won't stand up in the middle and then start going up into the objects. There's probably a way you could do it with one raycast, but I'm just doing it with two. And yeah, so if you use one raycast, it'd probably be more efficient if you're just moving it around. But yeah, so we got our duck spot, which is this right here, which is going to be where our eyes go once we start ducking. And this is just where our eyes are originally. So this is where our eyes currently are. You can imagine that. And we start off right here at 0.695. And we're going to go to the duck spot when we crouch. That's what we're doing right now. And the collision shape gets smaller with the height variable right here. So we just subtract the height until we get to our height that we want. So this is a collision duck height. That's what it's going to be, 0.7. And right here we have our duck cast. So we have two duck casts. One goes like the direction that we're moving, and one goes away from the direction that we're moving, and that's how it works out. So let's get into the script. Okay, so we got our player script and some basic states and stuff. So I got my height state, just checking for standing, ducking, jumping, or duck jumping. This is one we're going to be paying attention to in this video. We're not too worried about duck jumping or anything else. I just put that on the side just to like practice controls and stuff. And right here we have our move states: idle, slow, normal, and fast. We go slow when we're ducking. And right here we have all of our like basic player stuff like speed, mouse sensitivity, all that. And we have our duck speed and collision height right here, which we're going to use in this video. We're already using collision duck height, but we're not using duck speed yet because we're not interpolating yet. And right here we're going to use the original pivot location, the original height, collision height, and that's what we're going to get right here. Just we have our original pivot, send it to the pivot transform.origin, and we got the original collision height. And we got our input functions, just like changing like states and also moving us around. And right here, like this is one we're going to be paying attention to. So if the player presses the key control, we duck. If they're not, then we stand based on if these two are colliding. We got to check if they're colliding if we're ducking. Otherwise, we're not going to worry about the collision shapes. But yeah. Okay, so let's check this. So we got our duck function and our stand function. This is going to be where we interpolate. So right now we're just sending it instantly to that location, and send this instantly to that location, to the original location. So yeah, we want to do this over time or interpolating, and just to make it look smoother. And this will still be fast, but it'll be a lot smoother than we have it right now. So, right now, let's get into it. Let's just get into the interpolation. So we're going to check right here. We're going to do like a little Y check. And since we're just ducking, we're just going to go up by height. But you could, if you wanted to like do something like maybe where you're like going off at an angle, you might want to do it like this. So you might want to do pivot.transform.origin length or something like that is greater than duckspot.transform.origin.length. Let's see, .length. Then you would just you would be able to, you would start you do this, you do pivot.transform.origin minus duck speed times delta times maybe like the distance between these or something like that. Like maybe you would capture like an original distance that would be like basically which way they're gonna move, and then you would say like distance between both of those, and then that would give it a vector. So you're subtracting by a vector at that point. But right here, let's subtract by a float value. So right here, instead of length, we're just gonna do .y because that's all we're like. When you're ducking, you really only care about the y-axis. And right here, boom. And yeah, so we got this will interpolate into the ducking motion. And then after, if we have an else, then we're going to just set it to the duck spot. So right now you could see, you'll be able to see that we're already going into it. So it's, you can see the camera, the collision shape's going instant, but the camera is going gradually down. Okay, so we also need to make the collision shape go gradually down as well, or else it's going to feel pretty damn weird. So we're just going to check if the collision shape height is greater than collision duck height. So let's just do if collision shape height is greater than collision duck height. We're going to do the same thing where we subtract by duck speed times delta. But instead, instead of all this, we're going to pass in this. And boom. So you might want to make a function for this or something, just because there's a lot of repeat calls. But here, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do this. Boom. So, yeah. So it'll interpolate until it reaches this. Otherwise, it'll just set this to this. So if we go less than or equal to collision duck height, we're just going to set it to collision duck height. That way we always end up at that spot. And boom, as you see, we're interpolating into that motion. But as you can see, when we stand, it's still going instantly up. And that doesn't look very nice. The standing's a little tiny bit different, but it's mostly the same. It's going to follow the same type of thing with this if-else right here. And boom, we're going to have that. But instead, we're going to replace this with original pivot location. And then we're going to take the original pivot location.y and check if it's less than this. So if it's less than that, we want to add by duck speed times delta. So that way we interpolate into the standing motion too. And right here, let's see if that works. And as you can see, it mostly works, but we're still going instantly up with a collision shape. So what you want to do when you're standing is that like the camera will get bumped up as the collision shape goes higher. So what you could do to avoid that is just do it after the collision shape's done. So you can do this in the else branch. You could say if collision shape.height is less than original collision height, then you want to add by duck speed times delta and put this on the left side. And boom, now we got that. Else, you want to set it so this will only get set after the camera's done moving up. So this will look a lot smoother, so it won't get bumped up. See, look, it's very smooth. Otherwise, if we didn't do this, if we just did this normally, you know, it would mess up the interpolation a little bit. Like this, look. Actually, it still looks fucking smooth. Maybe you do just want to do it like that. But if we go into first person, I think it changes a little bit. Let's go. I think it looks like you instantly... No, that's going fine. Huh, I wonder why it was happening last time. But okay, let's turn off the collision shapes and just look at how that looks. Yeah, for some reason, like when I tested this earlier, the collision shape was making it bounce all the way up. But yeah, I showed you that if you just put it in the else of the pivot, then you'll be fine. Right here, this is looking fine. It's going interpolating down and interpolating up. So that's how you do it. Hope you all have a good motherfucking day. Peace out.